Real estate on the island of Puerto Rico is about to change forever, and I don't say that lightly. When you see a housing crisis at all-time highs, when big money starts circulating, and when inflation squeezes everyday families, that combination always signals a shift. And I know this because I've been investing in real estate for over 25 years. I've been through multiple cycles across multiple markets, and we've done hundreds of millions of dollars worth of transactions. And what's wild is most people don't even see it coming yet. I've seen this exact setup before. Most people miss this. Real estate doesn't change because of trends. It changes because of pressure. And every major shift that I've been through starts the same way. There's too many people, there's not enough housing, and there's no fast solution. And that's not an opinion, that's just math. I've seen this play out on the mainland in markets where supply lagged demand for years and years. And many people thought prices are going to cool off. The builders, they're going to catch up, and something's going to break and make it easier for the everyday people. They actually thought things were going to get cheaper. But what actually happened? The rents go higher. The people who are first-time home buyers, they get priced out. They get locked out. And the other thing that I saw, the people who understood this early, they profited. And Puerto Rico's in that phase right now. And this is where it gets misunderstood. Inflation, it doesn't hit everybody equally. Rents go up, material costs go up, and insurance costs go up. But wages, they don't go up. They lag. And when that happens, housing becomes the first breaking point for working families. And this cycle repeats itself. People wait, hoping prices will stabilize. They delay taking action, and they think that time is on their side and that it will save them. Look, it never does. Because when inflation hits, assets go up. That's the truth. And Puerto Rico's got something that most mainland markets don't, an extra layer of constraint. Let's be honest about something. Puerto Rico doesn't just have a housing issue. It has a working class housing shortage. Household incomes on this island are significantly lower than on the mainland. But families are competing in the same housing market. So even when outsiders look at the island and see something and they say, hey, rents are reasonable there, local families look at those prices and say, it's unaffordable. And when demand rises, but supply doesn't keep up, prices don't go down. They keep going higher. Maybe slowly, and definitely relentlessly, they keep going higher. And that's when people get upset and start blaming the wrong thing. Here's the truth nobody talks about. Puerto Rico doesn't have a lack of structures or buildings or even supply. It has a shortage of livable housing. Across this island, there are tens of thousands of abandoned homes, very distressed properties, and even buildings that would otherwise be livable on the market, but they're frozen in legal limbo because of inheritance laws that were written during the Spanish colonialism times. And this isn't hypothetical stuff I'm talking about. And these aren't hypothetical units. They exist. If you come to the island, you can't help but see them. I walk them. I show them to you again and again in videos that I do. I show you these homes. They've been sitting there vacant and distressed and decaying for decades. They've got great structures, solid bones, but they've had no maintenance for sometimes years and years. I've seen entire neighborhoods held back by properties that aren't serving anyone. And this is where the conversation usually breaks down. And while building new sounds good, but that's not a fast fix. It's unlikely that Puerto Rico is going to build its way out of this problem. Permits take a long time. Infrastructure takes even longer. And construction costs are through the frickin' roof. Renovations? They fix the problem fast. They create housing right now. I've taken properties that are completely unlivable and done the value add investing and brought units back online. And guys, when you have such a big crisis, every single unit matters. Every renovation property is one less family that has to compete for a new home, one less abandoned structure dragging the block down, and one more piece of housing that's doing its job. This is why real estate investors matter so much on the island of Puerto Rico. There's a lot of noise on the island of Puerto Rico about real estate investors, and they take the blame for prices going up, and they take the blame for locals moving off of the island. But guys, who's going to fix these zombie houses on the island? Who's going to take something that doesn't have power, doesn't have water, doesn't have doors, doesn't have windows, serves no purpose? It used to be housing. People lived there at one time. They raised their families there. Then they left the island and left the house. It's abandoned, it's destroyed, it's distressed. We call them zombie houses. Who's going to buy those properties if it's not a real estate investor? If you think that the island needs less real estate investing, you're wrong. The island needs more real estate investing, and here's why. Guys, I've been on the island for 8 years now. During that time, I've seen properties that have sat vacant and distressed and decaying the entire time. And in fact, they were sitting that way long before I ever showed up. And I've also seen some of those properties get brought back to life because a value-add real estate investor like you finds the family that owns them, convinces them to sell, buys the property, has the vision to renovate the property back up to its highest and best use, which means that it can go back on the market. It means that a family can live there again, and it means that it starts to solve the problem. A lived-in home beats an abandoned piece of shit every single time. And a restored building beats something that's sitting there decaying. And if investors don't step up and step in to add supply, then here's what will happen instead. When distressed housing stays distressed and supply stays tight, the rents keep going up. Neighborhoods keep going down and deteriorate. Listen, inaction, that's not neutral. It compounds the problem. I've seen areas that have fallen apart because nothing changed. And waiting to fix things doesn't preserve communities. It slowly erodes them. The housing crisis, like any crisis, it ain't gonna fix itself. Which brings us to what's next. The future of Puerto Rico real estate isn't luxury towers everywhere. It's rehab, restoration, and putting existing houses back in the market so that people can live in them again. We're talking about value add, affordable housing, long-term housing. This is why locals paired with experienced operators win. They understand the culture, they understand the math, and they understand that this is a long-term responsibility, not just get-rich-quick scheme. And this is how, guys, housing can grow without destroying communities. So Puerto Rico real estate is about to change forever. And it's not because of social media, it's not because of hype, but because housing needs to be created. So we can either fix what already exists, all of those zombie homes, or you can let the shortage keep squeezing families. I've seen enough cycles that I know how this ends. And the only question is, who's going to step up and who's going to wait too long?